Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. So today we're going to work through the spine in order to prepare us for our peak pose today, which is snail. And in other yoga traditions and even in Pilates, that's also known as plow pose. So we're going to get nice and loosened up in order to help our bodies a little bit more easily come into that one. And if you can't come into that one for whatever reason, I will give you another relaxing option to do. So props, all you need, maybe a blanket or two, a bolster or sturdy cushion. And if you don't have a bolster, I will show you a hack for that that we'll use with a couple blocks. You can kind of put them this way and drape some blankets over it so you can get the same effect when we open up the side body and the back body. So from here, taking a nice tall seat. Think about growing a little bit longer from crown to tail, but not so rigid that you can't sit or breathe comfortably. Taking a slight tuck in the chin. And we'll breathe here. So inhale and expand. Exhale and slowly release. Inhale and expand. Exhale and slowly release. One more time. Slowly inhale, expand. Hold that breath at the top when you get there. And slowly release. Good. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Connecting with an intention. What would you like to give or receive from our practice today? Maybe you'd like to dedicate it to someone or something. And then once you have that set, we'll inhale, take it up, turning palms away, grow taller from crown to tail. Good, let's just kind of prep the spine a little bit. So big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, take us over to the left. Reach, reach, reach. Breathe and expand, sits bones are grounded. And then you choose from here. You can stay or you can come out. You can side bend a little deeper. You can open a little bit more towards the ceiling, or maybe a C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee but not touching. Breathe and expand wherever you go. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, engage, coming back up. And take that right into the other side. Nice, juicy side bend here. Breathing and expanding. And then you can choose to side bend deeper if you would like. You can open towards the ceiling. Or maybe you want that C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee but not touching. Good, and then coming back to the side and coming back up. Good. From here, let's just take our hands behind the head. So my elbows are out wide, but they're not at their widest. And I can still relax my shoulders here. So finding a little bit more length, we're just going to take this to the left and then to the right. And I'm going to close my eyes here as we move left and right. Belly button stays in. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Keep that slower. You can pick up the pace just a little bit. So I'm inhaling to my left, I'm exhaling to my right. If that breath doesn't work for you, do what does. Relax the face. And then from here, if you took a faster pace, just carefully slow that down. Good, and then when you're ready, carefully coming back and release. Okay, we're gonna go right into our opening pose. We're gonna spend 1 minute in child's pose here. So remember, we're only here for a minute in this first one. So maybe you're like me and you need to cushion your knees today. So I'm just going to kind of undo this blanket. And we don't need to come too deep into this child's pose because it is our first one. But your knees can be together. They can be as wide as your mat. They can be somewhere in between. I'm just going to come back a little bit here and come down. You can take your arms a little bit more forward. You can take hands back by the ankles. You choose, but we'll be here for about a minute. Let it be active. Zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel, breathing and expanding. Relax the face. Zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Stay with the breath. Your body can sink a little bit deeper when it's ready. Good. So from here, carefully take the hands underneath the shoulders. Yeah, and we'll come up to all four. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come into a dangle position. So we're actually going to come into standing just a little bit here because it gives a lot of good traction down the spine and it helps things just be a little bit better for our peak pose. So I'm just going to carefully kind of come to my feet here. You can use blocks to help you. And then I'm just going to kind of almost come in, your forward fold. Keep a little bend in these knees. There's not a need to lock them out. You can have hands on a bolster or your blocks. You can have them on the floor. You can grab opposite elbow here. Be where you need to be. And from here, we'll be here for 2 minutes. Let the head and neck hang free. Breathe and expand. And if it becomes too much, you can carefully come down on here. We're going to come back into child's pose after this one. So my intention is more grounding. This is a first chakra pose here since my mind tends to be all over the place these days. And as you're here, you're about halfway. If it would feel good to you to just kind of sway a little bit to side, you can always do that. Stillness is always an option as well. You can let the arms even sway forward and back if that would feel good to you. If you feel it too much in the hamstrings, and that's not comfortable, put a little bit more bend in the knee. But stay in all four corners of your feet. Good. So from here, carefully take the hands back on the floor. If it would feel good to you just to lift a little bit and find a flat spine, you can. Otherwise, in the way that's best for your body, come back down onto the knees and just find a real quick child's pose here. And see how this second one is a little bit different than your first one. So we won't be here too long. Just take a moment. Reconnect. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to come forward into Sphinx or Swan. So I'm using a little bit of a cushion today underneath my pelvis, and I'm taking that folded part of my blanket right under my frontal hip bones here. And some of you may not need that, and that's okay too. Some of you might need something a little bit thicker. So it all just depends on the body. But from here, if you need to keep this a little bit more gentle, you can come into Sphinx. And if you want this to be more active and intense, you can come up into your Swan pose here. Okay, so you want your legs to be about hip width apart. I'm going to do Sphinx pose, but whenever you're ready, good. Press into the hands, press into the forearms, shoulders in their pockets, belly button is in. I'm going to shine my heart a little bit forward here in the Sphinx. We'll be here for a couple minutes. Breathe and expand. And while you're here, if it would feel good to you, you can look to the left and look to the right. And maybe you want to get other little circles or stretchies in here. This is actually not real comfortable for me, so I'm going to stop. I slept on the funny side, I guess, on the side. So this side of my neck is not happy this morning. It's actually probably better if I just go right and left. Good. So belly button stays in. If you're in that high swan, careful not to hang into your low back or hang in the shoulders. Maybe smile. Maybe say to yourself, I am grounded. I am rooted. Good. And then from here, always carefully come out of the back bend. I'm going to make a little recovery pillow here with my hands. And then I'm just going to wiggle here for a moment. If it would be better for you to take your hands under your shoulders and press back into a child's pose here, honor what your body wants you to do and take that child's pose. And then when you're ready, I'm going to take my hands under my shoulders and I'm going to come back up here. So from here, we're going to get into the spine really good. So I'm just going to fold this up. We're going to do a side lying spine and chest opener. So I'm going to bring my bolster in here. Now you can also do this with, a couple folded blankets, just like that, or multiple folded blankets. If you don't have a bolster, but you've got a couple blocks, you can always take your blocks like this, drape your blankets over it so it's a softer surface. Same deal. Almost always there's a way that you can find a hack. Now I'm going to bring my bolster here sideways. Taller people, or those of you that are just longer on the torso, might want a folded blanket on top of that bolster, just so you have a little bit more to get in there. But I'm just going to kind of sit on. Nope, I don't need that today. Yep, I'm just going to come here. So legs can do what you need to do. It can be this way, whatever you need. But from here, I'll get my timer. We're going to side lie for 3 minutes. And we'll do this on both sides. And whenever you're ready, just kind of fold over that space. So try not to leave any space here. Good. And some people need cushion and prop support under the head. That's fine too if that's you. But I'm just going to take this other arm up over here. There it goes. Breathing and expanding. So it's releasing a little holding pattern there. Always almost happens on the side. So if your body needs to cough, let it cough. Think about breathing into the side body here, this area right here. So if you're like me and you tend to have that releasing cough from a holding pattern in this area, maybe you can say to yourself, I am safe, I am secure, I'm in a safe space. Excuse me. And so I'm going to take that as a sign that good work is happening here. If you need to, remember, you're at home. You can always pause a video. We can grab a glass of water, something like that if you need it. Always take care of your needs. Always coming back to breath, coming back to intention. Could you find a slightly deeper breath here? Mm-hmm. And then from here, carefully take that top hand to the bolster or the floor, wherever it is that you're working, and carefully come up from there. Notice how you feel. And then I'm just going to move my bolster over to the other side. You can also just turn over to the other side as well. And then when we're ready, good. Bringing in your props nice and close to you. And when you're ready, just kind of folding over, filling in any gaps here. And it's possible one side needs something a little bit different than the other. So maybe you didn't have a blanket on your bolster on the other side, but this side you feel like you need to. Always okay. Good. Breathe and expand. Breathe into the side body, the side rib cage right here. So I've been kind of giving you little affirmations for the first chakra, but this is also fourth chakra work. So maybe I am loved is something you can say to yourself. Relax to the face, reconnect with intention and breath. Good. So from here, carefully take the top hand to your bolster to the floor, and we'll carefully come up. Good. All right. So we've worked the sides of the body here. We're going to work a little bit more into some of that flexion, loosening up a little bit more. So we're going to come into caterpillar here. And for caterpillar, I will bring in my blanket to sit on. And you can bring in a bolster here as well. If you feel like you need that for support, you can kind of put it here and just kind of fold over. Legs can be together. You can even have that bolster kind of settling down in between the legs if you need to do that. Or you can do it a little bit more traditionally, legs more together. Support the backs of the knees if you're really tight in the hamstrings. And if you're with me sitting up on a blanket or something, come into an anterior tilt of the pelvis a little bit. So hip bones will rock forward, toe bone will rock back. And then when you're ready, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward part way, don't go all the way. And then carefully fold in, just so that you leave your body some space to move. We'll try this one for 3 minutes. And then this time you're going to breathe into the back body, right into the mid back, right into maybe the upper lower back here. So as a reminder, we don't want to come into our fullest right off the bat. Your body will let you know when it's safe to sink deeper. You don't want to do that on an exhale. See about taking some deeper breaths as you return to your intention. Relax the face. Relax the breath. So carefully come out of your caterpillar. And if it would feel good to you to take a gentle twist in one direction and a gentle twist in the other direction, you can take those. Good. So from here, before we take it into snail or plow, we're going to come into sleeping swan, also known as pigeon pose. And I'll give you an opportunity here as well to get into a little bit of upper body with this one too. So I'm going to come off this blanket. Now, be mindful that we're going to start here with the right knee forward. So be on the right side first. So if your right hip doesn't come to the ground, fill that in with a folded blanket or something there. But I'm just going to take this right knee behind my right wrist, and I'm just going to slide that left leg back. And I want my right heel to be a little bit more towards my hip crease, and it doesn't have to touch it, but I want my calf muscle to kind of be free here and not tucked in there doing funny things. And then you have the opportunity to stay here. You can come all the way down. You can be supported if you want upper body on this one. Take your arms, right arm on top of the left. You can hug yourself. You can wrap yourself. You can fold in. Good. And we'll try this one for 3 minutes. You can come out of anything that you need to at any time. Remembering pain, numbness, tingling, burning, not normal sensations. So if you feel those, carefully back off until you do not. Good. I'm just going to be a little bit more lifted here, at least in the beginning. So remember, your body will let you know when it's okay to sink in a little deeper. And come back to grounding. I am safe, I am secure, I'm rooted. Breathe into the back body. Almost there. Breathe and expand. So from here, undo first what's best for your body. So it's that the upper body, if you took the wrap, Is it the lower body first? So for me, I'm just going to kind of roll over onto my right hip. I'm going to take both legs long here for a moment and just let this leg kind of resettle back to itself. I'm just going to rub a little bit here. Good. And then we'll take that right into the other side. So from here, in the way that's best for you, find the position. We're going to take the left knee behind the left wrist. Good. So I'm taking my shin, my calf, at that angle. Be prepared to fill in any space under that left hip if you need it. And then you choose, do you want to be here? Do you want to come down? Do you want to wrap? If you're going to wrap, left arm on top of the right this time. Good. You can stay up. You can fold in. Good. So I'm just going to stay right here for right now. Let my body tell me when it's okay to fold in a little bit deeper. Good. Taking the belly button into the spine, finding the breath, reconnecting with intention. Just a reminder, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, not normal sensations anywhere. So if you feel those, we want to back off until we don't. Less than a minute. From here, carefully undo what your body needs you to undo first. Good. Carefully roll over to the left side. Take those legs forward and just kind of release here a little bit. If you need to kind of rub a little bit, then always just kind of go with that. And then from here, we're going to come into our snail, our plow pose, our peak pose. So this one, we don't stay in very long in yin. So we're going to do this one for about a minute and a half. And if you're not quite sure, a few things. So if you've got cervical issues, I don't recommend taking your legs and your feet back over your head. If you know by taking your feet and legs back there that you cannot touch your feet to the floor, and because we're going to be here for a while, that probably won't happen to me. So I'm going to have this bolster back here, and that's going to give my feet something to kind of touch down on, just so that they're not doing a bouncy thing while we're here. Okay, now, this takes some practice to figure out where you need it to be, but from here, good. Oh, one more thing. If you shouldn't be doing plow, you can take a block or a folded blanket. You can take that underneath the hips, and you can just come right here and just do a basic legs up the wall. Okay, and you're still getting some nice relaxation here. So from here, when you're ready, I'm going to take a big inhale, exhale. I'm going to take it up. Oh, maybe not. I have to use momentum today, which I don't always recommend, but we do what we have to do. There we go. Finding the shoulder stand, finding a little bit of length, and then finding the plow. Good. So I've got my toes on my bolster. And another thing too, when you're here, you want to be mindful that you're not back on the neck. So if you feel that little bone at the base of the neck popping out, that's the cue that you're too far back. Now there's also variations. You can, bend the knees by the ears here. Some people like that one. Some people like to take their arms long in the opposite direction, clasp the hands. I think it's for a safety, especially if your feet can't touch the floor, to have your hands on your low back here for support. I'm still trying to keep a wide collarbone here. Good, so there's our 1.5 minutes. Make sure nothing is underneath the back as you carefully roll out of here. And then once you come out of there, just take the knees into the chest and gently take head and neck from side to side. Okay, I'm gonna roll over to my side. We're gonna do one more thing here before we end with a twist on our back, and we're gonna come into a supported back bend, just to kind of counter what we just did in that snail. So I'm bringing in my bolster again. So same thing as you did for side lying. If you need to kind of create a bolster, with a couple blocks and blankets over it, same thing. And today, I will probably need a little bit of a head support, so I'm just going to have this one back here. But I've got this bolster all the way against my low back, and I am going to just take this all the way back here. Good. We'll be here for a couple minutes. Not 5 minutes. Oh, that would be terrible. Maybe not terrible, but just too long. So you want your shoulders to be hanging off your bolster. Legs can be long. You can have a bend in the knees. You can be crisscross applesauce. This is about where it feels good to you. Breathe and expand. And you can always play with your needs. So for example, I need a bigger little neck cushion here. So I just folded my blanket again. Oh yes, that feels so much better. And then from here, good, carefully, I'm going to put a bend in my knees. I'm going to roll over to my side, and then I'm going to pick myself up here. Good. So I hope you feel a lot more open now than maybe we did when we started. And so we're going to finish up on our backs. Let's go and put this bolster out of the way. Good. And you can have a neck cushion back here. And then we're going to go into rotation now. So we've done forward flexion, we've done extension, we've done left and right lateral flexion. So now we're going to go into rotation. So from here, I'm going to take my right leg long in front of me. I'm going to take my left knee into my chest. So I'm just going to pull it in. And I'm lengthening a little bit here from crown to tail. I'm pressing through that right leg. And if you want to take this into a little bit of a stretchy here, lengthen and bend. And lengthen a little bit and bend. And lengthen a little bit and bend. Right hand on the outside of that left thigh, left arm out to the side. We're going to rotate over to the right. So we'll be here for a couple minutes as well. Maybe looking to the left. And anytime we do this twist, if this bothers your knee, you can always put a prop or something like that under the shin to keep it even. That'll take a little bit of pressure out if you're having that issue. Breathe into that rib cage. Reconnecting with breath, reconnect with intention. Grounding intention and open-hearted intention. Maybe your intention has nothing to do with this class or what we're doing here. Maybe it's just to make it through your day. I felt like that yesterday, so no worries. You're not alone there. Good. So from here, carefully guide yourself back in. Good. And then once you're back in, bring in the other knee. Good. Extend the other leg long. Take your hands behind the right knee. Good. Really reach and lengthen through that left side. Again, tug in that right knee. And then if you want to, sometimes this just feels good and you don't want to do anything else, but if you want to, you can lengthen a little bit and then bend and lengthen and bend and lengthen and bend. And we'll take the left hand on the outside of that thigh, right arm out to the side, rotating to the left. We'll be here for 2 minutes. And again, prop up that shin and that foot, that ankle if you need that. And it might be different on one side than the other, and very different on this side than the other side. And my side is letting me know that, so. It's finding breath, finding intention. Expand with that breath. So from here, carefully guide that leg back in the center. Bring the other knee back in the center. Good. Just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here a little bit. And we'll come into our Shavasana from here. So you've got lots of props. You can bring in anything that you would like. I'm going to use my feet and legs here to kind of manipulate my bolster to go under my legs. You can also do that with a folded blanket. And then whenever you're ready, knowing you can also be on your belly or your side. There's no real rules here as long as you can relax. See if you can relax or get about 10% more comfortable. And I'll leave you here for a few moments, dropping into the heart space. Taking some deep breaths. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of fingers and toes. Choose stillness or invite the knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded, or maybe you want to tuck the chin and lift for a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way that you may have used for your Shavasana time today. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips to the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex through the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for you in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here, and when you're ready, carefully pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat, whatever that would look like for you. Good. Finding just a little bit of a taller spine. Notice how you feel. Palms up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in a heart center. Reconnecting with your intention you made at the beginning of class. Grounding. Maybe open-hearted as we transition to other things. And we'll take our thumbs to our forehead for good and true thoughts. To our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful day, evening, week, and month ahead. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.